Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how you can go from this lighting setup, which is using the house lights only, to this lighting setup, which is using external lights. So this lighting setup is actually something really simple. It doesn't take that long to do, and it actually only takes 3 lights, 2 of which are very cheap. So we've got an edge light or a rim light, key light, and some fairy lights on the wall that I think provide a bit of depth to the shot. Also, if you're wondering, I'm actually shooting on the Fuji X-T3 with the Fuji 16-55 2.8, and I'm at about 50 millimeters on that lens, which is roughly around 70 millimeters on full frame, and I'm at all the way down at 2.8 on the aperture. The rim light or edge light is a Yongnuo YN160 LED light, and it's something that I've had for many years. There's been much newer versions of this light come out over the years, but it's something that I've had sort of for 5 years. I used to use it as a on-camera light back when I had a Canon DSLR, just to give some extra light, as you couldn't pump up the ISO as much on the old Canon 5D and 7D. What it does basically is just provides a kind of outline to the body, which separates me from the background. So actually for this light in itself, just having the light on by itself is a little bit harsh with the light coming out of it itself. So I actually just put up a little bit of nylon silk material, which is quite cheap to buy, and you can just stick this on top with a bit of gaffer's tape or Velcro, and it just softens up the edge light a little bit. So the next light is the main key light, which is the Aperture 120D, and it's the original Mark I version, which I've had for a couple of years now. They brought out newer versions of this light. I've actually using it. There's a few different ways you can use it, a few different attachments to soften up the light. The attachment that I've actually enjoyed using the most and found the most useful and easiest to set up is an attachment called the Aperture Space Light Softbox, which I like because it's very easy to set up. There's also a little bit of black material that you get, which you can put around the space light itself, controlling the light, making sure that it just pours out of the part of the softbox that you want it to, which allows you to control more of the light, have less spill of the light going onto the background in other areas, and it creates a little section of light that pours out with nothing else spilling out onto the background or foreground. So you can just isolate the section of the face that you want to. So for this, I've actually got it on a C-stand, and the light's actually facing down with the Aperture Space Light Softbox attached to it, as you can see here. So I've actually got the light at about 30 degrees from myself, which gives a bit more of a dramatic look with more shadows on the opposite side of my face. If you prefer to have less shadows, you can either fill in that side with something like a white piece of foam core board or white side of a reflector. You can also move the light a bit further around towards the camera, so maybe about 45 or 60 degrees away from you, which will give you a less dramatic look, less shadows on the other side of your face. If you wanted to sort of eradicate shadows altogether, you could bring it directly in front of you, but it's not something I'd recommend, as it also gives a very flat and probably the least interesting look that you can get. So the third and final light is the cheapest one. It's just some fairy lights that you can pick up literally from anywhere, any home hardware store, any lighting shop. They'll have some sort of fairy lights, and I've just put these up on the wall pretty much. Really, that's all I needed to do. And as you can see, when they go sort of a little bit out of focus, they can give you a nice, pleasing look in the background. It just creates a bit more visual interest in the background rather than just having a plain blank wall, which is what I've got here in the office at the moment. So that's pretty much it. That's all that I've used in this scenario to go from this shot with the house lights on only to this shot using external lights. Everything that I've used or talked about in this video, I'll link it down in the description below. Thanks very much for watching, and have a good day.